Hi, I'm Matt Sosman, a Senior Security Architect at Microsoft, and I want to show you how easy it is to onboard a Windows 10 endpoint into Microsoft Defender Advanced Threat Protection. And we're going to do this using Intune. Don't worry, you could also do it with other third-party mobile device management providers, and I'll talk about that in just a moment. So let's jump into this. It's actually really easy to do this in just 4 simple steps. The first step is we're going to enable the Intune integration inside Microsoft Defender Advanced Threat Protection. 2, we're going to turn on the Defender ATP integration in Endpoint Manager or in Intune. And then third, we're going to configure the compliance policy in Microsoft Endpoint Manager or Intune. And then fourth, we're going to create a conditional access policy in Azure Active Directory to finalize this. And don't worry, I'll walk you through each one of these and what it does. Now, if you are using a third-party MDM provider, not a problem. Use the links on the screen for the custom CSP and DDF file so you can onboard Defender ATP for those endpoints on that third-party MDM. So go ahead and pause the video and check out those links if you need to. Okay, inside the Microsoft Defender Security Center at securitycenter.microsoft.com, on the left side here, click on Settings, and then click on Onboarding under the Device Management category. Now notice the different operating systems you can onboard. For this demo, we're going to choose Windows 10, and notice the different methods I can use to onboard a machine. For this demo, we're going to choose Mobile Device Management / Microsoft Intune. Now, if I was using a third-party MDM, I would download the package, but because we're using Intune or Microsoft Endpoint Manager, there's actually nothing we need to do here. Don't even download the package. What we are going to do is up at the top on the settings page, we're going to go to Advanced Features. And then under Advanced Features, we're going to make sure that Microsoft Intune connection is turned on. Now, once that's turned on, we're going to save our preferences, and then we're going to move over to Endpoint Manager. So here we are inside Endpoint Manager. We're going to click on Endpoint Security. And by the way, to get to Endpoint Manager, it's just endpoint.microsoft.com. We're going to click on Endpoint Security, and then under Setup, we're going to click on Microsoft Defender Advanced Threat Protection. Now, once I click on that, I'm then going to make sure that Connect Windows Devices is set to on. And at that point, we're ready to rock and roll. Save your changes. So if you do not do this, if this advanced feature is not enabled and you do not enable this, then you need to create a configuration policy. So let me talk about that briefly. If we go to Devices and go to Configuration Profile and click on Create Profile and choose Windows 10 and later, and then choose Defender ATP, I would then have to deploy this to my endpoints to onboard them to Defender ATP. But because that connection is already made between Endpoint Manager or Intune and Defender ATP, that option actually does not exist here. So just kind of keep that in your back pocket. You don't even have to come in here and do a configuration profile. Okay, step 3 is we need to create a compliance policy. So let's go ahead and create a compliance policy. Now I've already done this. I called it Defender ATP or MDATP. And then here I'm going to choose under Compliance Settings. I'm going to select Microsoft Defender ATP, and I'm going to change this to Clear. Now what that is doing is basically telling the system that if there's any threat at all, to then change the compliance of that machine to be non-compliant. And that's what Clear means. Any threats that are at low and above, place out of compliance, medium and above, high and above, all right? So for this demo, we're just going to choose Clear, which is basically anytime the machine has any type of threat on it, it's going to be placed out of compliance. All right. So now that we've done that, we need to create a conditional access policy. Okay, so for the conditional access policy, over on the left side here, I'm going to go to Endpoint Security, and then we're going to click on Conditional Access. Okay, inside Conditional Access, I already created a policy called MDATP. I have it scoped to all my users. Now in production, you're probably going to want to do this differently, but for testing my lab, I have it all users. Cloud Apps is all cloud apps. My conditions are just including the Windows platform, and then under Grant, I am requiring the device to be marked as compliant. And for my lab here, we're just going to do report only for now. I'm going to do another video shortly on what this actually looks like. So I'll turn this on in the other video. So at this point, we are ready to onboard our machine. All right, so now let's go over to our machine here. So here we are at a Windows 10 professional machine, sitting in out-of-box experience mode. No imaging, nothing like that. So let's go ahead and enter our language here and our keyboard layout. And once we do that, get connected to the network here and then start building this machine. Set up for an organization. We'll log in with our Azure Active Directory credentials, do the multi-factor authentication thing, and then here's Endpoint Manager now building that machine. I have sped up this video for interest of time here, and so at this point we're now at a desktop. So let me show you what Defender ATP looks like. Okay, so now that we're at a desktop, let's go ahead and click on Task Manager, open that up. Let's sort our tasks by name here. And here you can see there's Windows Defender Advanced Threat Protection, there's the service, and there's Incident Response Module. So it's loaded, it's ready to go. Remember, this is not an agent. So there's no agents down here. I mean, this is the built-in Windows Defender, but there's no ATP agent. It's a process that's built into the operating system. You just need to onboard the machine, and of course with the appropriate license to get that lit up. Well, folks, that's it. It's actually pretty easy, as you can see. Now, I could keep talking about this, but I want to respect your time. I hope you enjoyed this video. Hit me up on LinkedIn or in the comments below if you have any questions, and I'll do my best to answer them. We'll see you in the next video. Take care.